Welcome, fans!
Hello fans, this is Alex. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you the second video of 3 that I had we prepared for the TOMNASH interview. Before you watch it, I want to give you a message. We talk about Palantir and Tesla mainly. These two companies have very big margins. This is what Tom likes. We also talk about moat. I believe Palantir have a moat, but Tesla doesn't, because any EOM can come in and do electric vehicles. I don't know if these huge market margins can be sustained in the future. These two companies have niche markets. Tesla is very, very niche. It's comparable to Mercedes, Audi, BMW, all these luxury cars. And I believe only few people can get Teslas. Middle, upper class, rich people, billionaires. And in Latin America, it's not easy. It's very hard to get a Tesla, and we don't have the infrastructure to do it, to sustain a Tesla in Mexico, or I don't know if in anywhere in Latin America. And in the US, yes, you have California, but still, I don't know if Texas or other states have all the free chargers that you need, the charging points, everything you need. So yes, to sustain the growth that Tesla has, a lot of very, very optimistic situations and variables have to come true. And the same for Palantir. So I still keep my opinion that these two companies are not at a buy right now, neither Tesla or Palantir. But I let Tom talk about them, discuss this, and we actually go into the numbers. I'm not going to show this part of the interview in my or any of my 2 videos left, but I promised Tom I was going to get into the numbers and read the 10Ks and thank yous and compare some notes. Yeah, I will do that. However, I don't know if this part of the conversation is going to go out into the public. I'll let you know. However, I just wanted to make this message to tell you that I still believe Palantir and Tesla are not value plays. I don't think you should buy them until it makes sense, until they actually have positive net income. They have good revenue, but still not there. EPS, positive EPS, a PE ratio, a lot of multiples. You need to get into the 10Ks and 10Qs and understand the company as well as Tom does. If you ever consider buying it, for me, it's not. I'm not still there, but you can go into his channel and see his assumptions and his videos. He explains it. He knows way more about Tesla and Palantir than I do. I'm mainly a bobblehead. I have a few companies, but my companies are not growth companies, so I probably don't understand what he sees in them. I don't see the moat, as I said. I don't see many things. The FSD that he talks about, which could be a big thing for Tesla, is not something. It's not a reality right now. The automatic driving software has failed a lot of times. We had a lot of accidents. People that have Teslas are telling me that this is not something perfect, that you still need to drive the car. So when this changes, it's going to be amazing, but right now it's not something that we can consider as a revenue source for the company. And I don't know how many people are paying for the package. But we'll see. We'll see if these two companies, monsters, come to fruition and actually make money. Still, I don't think they're there yet. So that's all I wanted to say. I respect Tom. I wanted to hear his point of view. You have the last word. So if you like this interview, please like, subscribe, and share. Tell your friends about me. I'm Alex. I'm here to give you some educational videos, to meet with some people, share my point of view on certain situations. And I want more investors in Latin America and Mexico. That's my goal. Thank you. Have a nice one.
Give less fucks, bro.
That is the best thing to do, man. So I'm gonna ask you because I'm in the middle. I don't know. The first time you came on our live, you said that you were a Warren Buffett. I'm an admirer, that you like the bullhead system, that you actually promote the S&P 500 ETF and others.
It's my fourth biggest position.
Yeah, I know. I seen the portfolio, but why do you gamble on some companies, for example, Palantir
and Tesla
well,
and Google?
We're not gonna get into the numbers because I know
Yeah.
you debated this with Fabio and others. I just want to know if it's something that I believe you really believe in it, in the company.
We can get into a little bit of the numbers if you want.
But I think just want your reasons why would you get into this place if they're not in a...
Well, there's not a lot of these companies out there. So all of like so my four positions are very different. On the one hand, I'm very heavily into the S&P 500, and I said this in my video about the portfolio. I mean, it's a cheat code. By definition, the S&P 500 long-term goes up. It's 8% a year, like clockwork. So that's kind of insurance policy for every portfolio. Why do I gamble on these three stocks, which is Google, which is Tesla, and Palantir? Because I don't know if you know this, but they have something in common, all of them. They all give you above 30% growth per year. They're all profitable, above 30% margin, and it's a growth story with the massive cash flow and a crazy moat. So think about it this way. You can say it about all these three companies.
I think
who
lots of companies can do what
Tesla. No, Tesla has a huge moat. It's like you guys, I know you guys hate Tesla, but they have a huge moat, which unfortunately is a little bit tough to understand, but I'll try to explain. Okay. Tesla is an easy case to debate. I mean, I thought you would push me on Palantir because that's a little bit harder, but Tesla is an easy debate. So Tesla, Tesla. Let's talk about the moat. Let's talk about the margins, and let's talk about the growth and potential like future.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't think Tesla has a moat, because every car company can go into EV.
Yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying. So let me explain. So my position on Tesla is basically, okay. So I look at Tesla and I see, first of all, as a numbers guy, I look at the reports and I see insane amount of efficiency. So I'm not huge on EPS, not huge on GAAP profitability. I don't care. I am huge on margins. I want to see a good margin business. So I look at Tesla and I'm saying, okay, so these guys are giving me 25-26% EBITDA on 1 million cars. Okay, so what's my benchmark? Let's say Toyota, GM, and Ford, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so GM and Ford are around 13-14% EBITDA. Toyota is at 20%. So Tesla is doing 26% EBITDA with 1 million cars. Toyota sells 10 million cars per year. GM probably something similar. So at 1/10 of the capacity of the efficiencies of the ramp up, they're already doubled than GM and 5%, 6% more than Toyota. I say, okay, this is interesting. And then if you look at the actual efficiency as far as the cash flow, so their operating margin for Tesla is now 15% last quarter. It's not bad for a car company.
No, it's
what?
It's better than the market.
No, it's much, much better. I can show you GM and Ford's, nobody's close to them. But here's the point. You know how much the operating margin for Tesla was in the beginning of the year? Like the operating margin, like 3 quarters back.
Mm-hmm. No,
5%. 5. So in the whole year, they improved from 5 to 15% operating margin. So that shows me something. Now, also, that 15% is a little bit of a bullshit number because it includes the stock grant that Elon got this year. So all the stock stuff that he got this year went into the cost base. So if you take out the stocks, it's probably 17% operating margin. But you know what they say, if grandma had wheels, she would be a bicycle. So let's look about 15, right? So 15% operating margin for 1 million vehicles. 1 million vehicles for those like in the auto industry, it's not a lot. They're making less cars than fucking Mazda at this point. I don't even know how much, like they're not a big car manufacturer.
No, they're
So
not.
1 million cars, 15% operating margin. Very impressive. They've definitely showed me the ability to increase prices and keep levels of demand quite high. They've done this before. Their cash flow is phenomenal, bro. So Tesla generated free cash flow this year of $2.8 billion. Can't believe I remember these numbers for Jesus Christ. I'm a nerd. So $2.8 billion in free cash flow. And that's after spending $2 billion on CapEx because they built Austin and they built Berlin. So with two factories in the same year and the $2 billion CapEx investment, they still give me 2.8 billion free cash flow. So I know a few things about Tesla. The growth part, everybody knows. Everybody knows, you know, the growth part, they went from 450,000 cars to 900,000 cars. Next year, they'll do 1.5 million cars. And then the year after, they'll do 3 million cars. That's kind of roadmap everybody sees, especially with the new Shanghai, the Austin and the Berlin factories coming online. So the growth part, we all know. So we're talking about a company that's growing at over 30% per year. I'm just being, 30% is my benchmark. Like above 30%, it put high growth. So high growth, high margin business, very hard demand. Even though they raise prices insanely, I can show you the evolution of the prices. Demand is still the same. Cash flow, very positive cash flow, no debt. They're killing the debt. They've repaid a lot of debt this year. So,
but they are issuing a lot of shares, man. Probably. That's how well you can pay.
You're talking about because there's that issuance is predominantly the Elon stock grants.
Okay.
They're not issuing that much shares to the public. It's basically Elon executing his stock grants. But with Elon executing his stock grants, you have to understand that this is his only salary, and he's been waiting for this for 10 years. So for the past 10 years, he got them actually coincidentally when Alex Karp got his in Palantir. But Alex Karp actually takes like $1 million a year in salary. Elon is not even taking salary. So there's no salary. It's only these stocks, the stock options that he has. And he had to wait for 10 years for them to almost expire until he had to exercise them. So these exercises create the dilution you're talking about. I don't mind that at all. The thing that I look at Tesla and I say, okay, so where's the moat? So we know the growth, we know the efficiencies, we know the cash flow. It's a fundamentally very, very healthy business. Assets to liabilities, net debt, everything looks great. So look at the moat of this company. One may claim that they have a moat in supercharging network because it's a massive capex investment for auto manufacturers to take on. It's going to be very difficult, but it can be done. If they decide to, it potentially can be done. They're probably a few years behind. I know there's not a lot of superchargers in Mexico, but in the US, it's big. It's a big deal. When you buy a vehicle, electric vehicle, range is a big issue. And if you want to take a road trip, you want to be in and out in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise it's with the 5 screaming kids in the back, you cannot, that's the maximum. When I go to a road trip with my family, I probably have 20 minutes until my wife starts to basically, we got to get the fuck out of here, bro, before the kids kill each other.
This is all of this is sustainable? Do you think? Don't you think?
Well, hold on a second. It's a good question, but I'm midway through this, so I don't think supercharger is the moat. I think it's a big differentiating factor and why a lot of people buy Teslas because of how easy it is to charge them, and nobody else has that. I think the moat for them eventually will be the FSD, because if you look at FSD, it's like everybody can make an electric vehicle. You pointed out. Eventually, the OEMs, they'll figure it out. They haven't yet. The electric vehicle offering right now is trash, but eventually they'll figure it out. and they will make good electric vehicles. I mean, it's just putting a battery instead of an engine. They'll find a way to do it properly.
And you have NIO and BYD and all these.
Well, BYD and NIO not really competing with Tesla. I don't think ever. They have plenty of TAM in the Chinese market. BYD is actually making a more kind of BYD maybe will compete with Tesla when Tesla come out with the Model 2, whatever it's going to be called. But NIO, they still haven't really. They're going to focus on the Chinese market predominantly. It's such a huge market. It's going to take a while for them to launch out. Plus, I think NIO has other problems. NIO has a BaaS model, which I think is only suitable for China. Like battery as a service is really good for China when everybody lives in high risers. But in Western Europe and the US, it's not going to work. Also, you have standardization issues with BaaS. I mean, every time you change a battery, like the inventory levels you have to keep, the capex investments, BaaS has a lot of issues. The reason I know this because somebody already tried BaaS. There used to be a company called Better Place, and Better Place had a JV with Renault, and they couldn't. The infrastructure was impossible to maintain. So battery as a service is a complex undertaking. So that's why I think NIO has a lot of problems ahead. It's nice on paper, but when you try to execute that, it's a big issue. I think FSD is where it's at because with FSD you only have two players in the market. Both have been added for 2 decades. Well, no, Tesla was not good, but Tesla 20 years ago, the only player in autonomous driving was a little company nobody heard about called Mobileye. Mobileye was a little company nobody heard about. Their CEO is obsessed with autonomous driving. And essentially they started developing these little devices. It's an aftermarket add-on to your car, but it will let you know if there's if you're trying to go left, it will let you know if there's a car. It would use a little camera on the front. And so it was an aftermarket add-on. And they eventually developed that into like autonomous braking and adaptive cruise control and all the stuff that are standard in modern vehicles right now. Lane assist. So this was the first company ever to do it. They got acquired a long time ago by Intel, when Intel was still the shit before they started basically losing to AMD and Nvidia. But that's a topic for a different interview. I'm actually bullish on Intel. Everybody in my space, because everybody's so focused on growth, even my partner Justin, who I do the show with, he says Intel is trash, blah, blah. Intel, the narrative is that I actually like Intel.
Yeah, me too. I think it's very, very fundamentally sound.
Yeah, Intel is great. So anyways, Intel purchased, especially with Pat's new plan with going as a subcontractor for Fab. Yeah, and Intel's not the point of this. So basically, Intel acquired Mobileye, and then actually Mobileye started working with Tesla. So Tesla had 0 FSD capabilities, and they JV'd with the only player who had them, which was Mobileye, and eventually they fell off. They had a fight, they fell off, and they broke apart, I believe, in 2015. And in 2015, basically, Tesla said, okay, we're going to do our own thing. And kind of funny enough, they have done better than Mobileye. Since then until now, they have actually, the FSD beta is light years ahead of what Mobileye has to do. Mobileye actually provides the autonomous assist driving systems for NIO, Xpeng, and pretty much everybody else. So the basic split off between them was LiDAR. Like Mobileye was pro LiDAR. Tesla was basically, it's your brain doesn't have a LiDAR and you can still, you can still drive in the rain. So it's just a software solution, right? That's the logic. And Mobileye what I'm hearing, Mobileye is basically dropping the LiDAR thing. So they know that they're behind. But eventually everybody will have some sort of a driver assist system. It's just Tesla's push for autonomous driving goes against everything that Mobileye believes in. So Mobileye is basically saying this will forever be a driver assist system. We'll never reach full autonomy. And Tesla is going for the full autonomy. And it's like in the gym, when you're trying to make 10x, then you do 9x. When you try to do 4x, you do 3x. I believe FSD is going to be a game changer for Tesla going forward. And I think that I don't know about robotaxis or not. I don't understand. My valuation has 0 robotaxi revenue for the next 7 years. So when I do my DCF, no robotaxi, no energy. I'll share it in a few videos. No, nothing, just automobiles. So just looking at cars and FSD sales, and I assumed, I think 10% of penetration of FSD into Tesla sales for the next 5 years. Listen, FSD has crazy margins, bro. It's like 80 something percent gross margin. It's right now $12,000 per year revenue driver for Tesla. FSD margins are going to make Tesla basically an app seller. So the margin in that business is going to be insane. If Tesla can hit 5-6 million vehicles per year, which is pretty much like 50-60% of Toyota, and they get 10% penetration on FSD on their own vehicles, I think it's going to be very hard to compete with. They're already kicking ass. None of the other auto manufacturers can close to their margins right now. So imagine that with 5x more vehicles and the efficiencies it brings with it. Of course, I could be wrong. Nobody really fucking knows. Nothing is certain in this life. We don't know. But it's kind of my theory.